What's up, everyone? I'm CO Connolly, and today is video 5 of my 5-part series talking about my books. Let's see. Today I'll be talking about Fruitful Affair and Killer Suburbia. Um, Fruitful Affair is the last book in the Affair series, and it's not finished yet. I am doing the file edits and everything on that, but I figured I would include it, and as well as Killer Suburbia. Killer Suburbia is even less finished than Fruitful Affair because I'm only in the paper edits on that one. And Fruitful Affair I started writing in April of 2019. So I started writing it right after I finished with Fundamental Affair. So I wanted to make sure that all of the books were done at the same time. I was able to get the first draft finished by the end of June, and by then I had already written 2 manuscripts in 2019. So I was excited about that. And I was editing, or I was still finishing Family Affair. I was beginning edits on Fundamental Affair. So Fruitful Affair kind of got pushed back, and that's the reason why I'm just now starting with the file edits on Fruitful Affair. It has not gone to my beta readers at all yet. And I'm hoping to have that to my beta readers by June, which would be next month, so that I can get it all completed and finished by the end of the year. Because in that way, I'd have 2 books published in 2020, and that would just be amazing because never done that before. I had 2 books published in the same year. So, I am, however, if I do get Fruitful Affair published this year, I will have my life timeline, if that makes sense, because I wanted to have 5 books published by 2020. And if I get Fruitful Affair published before the end of the year, I will have those 5 books published by 2020. Now, it's, like I say by 2020, but I really mean like in 2020. I had to explain it to my husband too. But anyway, so by 2021, I'll already have 5 books published, and then I can start with publishing my 6th, because I know that Killer Suburbia probably won't be published until next year, which is fine. And I'm okay with that. So I've been to 2 conventions now. I've had Scary Dad's Haunted Halloween show last September. I did the Cult Classic Convention in February. I've got the Houston Horror Film Fest later. It was supposed to be in June, but because of everything that's going on, it got moved to September, which I can understand. I get that. And then Scary Dad's is in October. So I am going back to Scary Dad's Haunted Halloween show. It was so much fun last year. It's going to be great to do it again. And then, okay, so I started editing Fruitful Affair in January when I started writing Killer Suburbia. So Fruitful Affair was being edited at the same time that Killer Suburbia was being written. I wanted to try to get Fruitful Affair done editing by the time the Houston Horror Film Fest came around in June. Now, I go through this, what I like to call writer's remorse. And it's where you've written the manuscript, you're happy with it, you go to edit it, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there going, this is shit. Why do I do this to myself? Why am I even writing? Because I'm crappy at this. What the hell is all of this? So I went through a little bit of writer's remorse in a way. So I did push it off in like February and stuff. And of course I was trying to finish Fundamental Affair anyway. So I pushed off Fruitful Affair so I could finish Fundamental Affair. And then once Fundamental Affair was done, I started doing Fruitful Affair again. But I keep hitting these points where I'm just like, ugh. And I'm hitting that writer's remorse is what I call it. And the problem is, though, is that it comes up every single time I get to a point where I'm just like, this just sounds like shit, but I know why it sounds like shit. It's literally my first draft. No kidding, it sounds like shit. But in my head, it's coming out a lot worse. So I literally keep getting this writer's remorse every time I hit this one editing spot that I just can't figure out how to make the scene better. So I end up reverting back to my old, wanting to handwrite everything. So what I end up doing is I take out the composition notebook that I handwrote the entire first manuscript, and I write out the scene. Literally just the little scene that I have highlighted, I write it out. And then at the top, I write the notes that I have in the file. So I write the notes down, I write down the scene, and then I have to handwrite my edits so that I can put it in the file. It seems like it's counterproductive in a way, and sometimes it is, and it takes so much longer to do that, but for some reason it's that writer's remorse that literally just makes me feel like shit. So I'm hoping that whether it be the Houston Horror Film Fest in September or Scary Dad's Haunted Halloween Show in October, I would like to have the entire Affair series in a box set that I can sell all 4 books at once. And I would love to be able to do that. Now, I am talking with a company to see if they can't make a box that will actually fit the 4 books together so that I can actually make the box set. And I think it would be nice if it was like a box that would fold back so that it looks like a box set, but then I can fold it up and cover it and then ship it that way in the box set. So then all it has to be is opened up and then it's a whole box set kind of thing. We're not sure if we're going to be able to do that, if that makes sense. So, but we're trying. We're trying with a few things. So, anyway, so because we are on a stay-at-home order, the Houston Horror Film Fest has been postponed to September. Scary Dad's Halloween Show is in October, and I'm feeling a little more apprehensive about being prepared for both conventions since they're so close together. But Lightning Source had sent an email that said that their printing is 22 to 30 days. And I'm freaking out at this point because I'm like, I have to make sure that I have inventory for the conventions. And I want to make sure that I have inventory for the conventions, like both at the same time. And I'm like, shit. If I order books now, am I going to get them on time? Like, I know I'm going to get them in June, but that's fine. Which, by the way, I did get an email after I ordered them. It's been 2 weeks since I ordered them. I got the email that says they're going to be delivered on Friday the 22nd of May. So it's only been 2 weeks. Now, the last time I had ordered books for the convention, I literally ordered them like on a Monday and they shipped on Wednesday, and I was able to get them by Friday, which was amazing, by the way. And I ordered the same amount. No, I ordered less because I had less books. I only had 3 books at that time. Now I have 4. But this time it took 2 weeks. So it's not taking as long as they said it would. Thank God. Because I'm afraid that I may have to order a whole nother set of exactly what I just ordered. And I'm a little nervous about it. But I feel like if I'm doing 2 conventions at once, then at least that way I can be a little bit more prepared, because I'm doing the exact same thing for both conventions, but I don't want to do it that way. I want to make sure that each convention kind of has like its own thing, so that there's something new at each convention. And I did that for between Scary Dads and then the Cult Classic Convention. I had coupons. So now for the Houston Horror Film Fest, I want to have something else. Now, I know for the Cult Classic Convention next year, I already have started preparing something new and really exciting. Like, I want to tell you so bad what my new series is about, but I want to wait until it's at that point that I feel confident enough, more like once I start writing it, in that sense. And I'm hoping that if I get Fruitful Affair finished by the end of this month and get it to my beta readers in June, then while I'm doing file edits for Killer Suburbia, I'm also starting the new series. So in February for the Cult Classic Convention, I have a bunch of stuff that I have actually formatted, and it's ready to be printed out and everything. And I'm so excited. I think it's going to be more fun than anything. And what I plan to do is I want to bring as many people as I possibly can over to my booth. And I have it set up to where I will actually end up calling over everybody. So I'm really excited about it. My mom's excited about it because she was at the last Cult Classic convention. So, but I want to make sure that each convention like has its own thing, you know? So I can't start the new series, like the stuff that I'll be passing out for the new series. I can't start that until February because that's when I feel confident that I'll actually have enough out for that series to be able to do that. Because I don't want to start giving away stuff for my new series and not have anything for them to purchase. And I have something in the works that should be done by the end of this year that I should be able to get published and have ready. So even if I can't get Killer Suburbia finished and published, I do have something else that should be finished and published for the end of the year that I had started like 2 months ago. It's literally... Okay, I'm going to stop there because I don't want to give anything away. So anyway, I do feel like I have a good chance of getting Fruitful Affair published in time for Houston Horror Film Fest because it is in September now. But if the stay-at-home order stays in place for the rest of the year, then we may not have the conventions. I understand, like, right now, the states and stuff are starting to reopen, but it's still small gatherings and stuff. So with it being small gatherings, I'm afraid that the conventions are going to be pushed aside. So anyway, since Fruitful Affair isn't published yet, I don't have anything to read from the book. I don't have any visuals. So I do know exactly how my book cover is going to go. I know exactly how to do that. So I'm in the process of actually fixing that up to get that taken care of so I can get the book cover done. But I can kind of give you like a little rundown of this story because I already have, because the synopsis on the back of the book takes me the longest, I kind of already have that written out. And I wanted to make sure that that got taken care of, because it always takes me the longest to do. And I hate the fact that it takes me the longest to do, and it makes me feel like shit the whole time. Like, I wrote the friggin' book. Why can't I come up with a frickin' synopsis to go on the back of the book? And it always sounds like shit anyway. Anyway, so on the back of the book, it is going to say, "Life is a gift." And it says, as she recovers from her newest mutilation, Mackenzie and Jasper begin preparing to finally go on their honeymoon. It's months late, but it was necessary for both of them to relax and try to forget about the horrors that have gone on for over a year. The honeymoon begins less relaxing than anticipated, but eventually turns into the best time of their lives. Upon returning to the center, Mackenzie is then haunted by the ghosts of her past. The relaxing feeling she had from her honeymoon has now turned into nausea and tension. When a life-changing event creates another dangerous situation, will Mackenzie and Jasper ever get there happily ever after, or is Mackenzie destined to be tortured for the rest of her life? So that's going to be the synopsis on the back of the book. Hopefully that's it. I mean, to me it sounds good, but it always sounds good to me, and then my mom's always like, I think you need to change this and change this. And... So, anyway. Okay, now for Killer Suburbia, I have even less information on Killer Suburbia because it is only in the paper edit stage, which means I only have my first shit draft. And my first shit draft is always the one that it was literally written specifically to get the idea out of my head. there it is, right? I think it's only like 100 pages. It may be like 146 or something like that, but it's not as long as, you know, I'd want it to be. It's like 28,000 words. I am an underwriter, so I tend to write less and then add more later. And I always feel like that's the best way to do it, because it's always easier to add more than it is to take away, because you feel like every detail that you have put in your book is important details, when in actuality it's mostly just filler details. So I started writing Killer Suburbia in January 2020, and it was finished by March of 2020. It was actually finished 2 weeks early. So I was happy about that. Now, there is some parts in it. So I do have 2 new beta readers for Killer Suburbia, because I want to make sure that I am portraying certain characters the right way. So I did recruit, I guess you could say, 2 new beta readers. And I'm very happy about it, because they are people that I do know, and they are people that will give me their honest feedback. And that is exactly what every writer wants. Every writer wants somebody to give them honest feedback and be as brutal as they possibly can. And that's exactly what I need. I need somebody to be absolutely brutal. I want somebody to take a red pen, red marker, whatever, and bleed the fuck all over it. Because I want to know that what I'm putting out is absolutely perfect for the reader. So, I'm currently going through the first round of edits, which is the paper edits, on my shit draft for Killer Suburbia. It's going to be a lone title. I had originally outlined it as a series, but my outline was so vague, it turned into a single book, which is fine, because now it's going to be a lone title with Friendly Misfortunes. So now I've got Friendly Misfortunes and Killer Suburbia as lone titles. And I have now decided that I'm going to write 4-book series and a lone title. A 4-book series and a lone title. So now I've got Friendly Misfortunes, then I've got the Affair series, and then I'll have Killer Suburbia, and then I'll have my new series, and then I've just got to figure out what single title to write after that. Which is not going to be hard, just say. So I also had thought about the fact that it would be really weird if I only had one lone title. Like, if I've got this one lone title and then like 5 book series, it's like, okay, why do you just have this one single book? Like, that just seems weird. So that's why I decided I'm going to do this pattern. Like, that's going to be, I don't know, like my thing, I guess you could say. I don't know. So either way, it worked out in my favor, because I do like the idea of having extra lone titles. And it's only because Friendly Misfortunes was never meant to be a book series, but neither was Forbidden Affair. Forbidden Affair wasn't meant to be a book series, but I did write it in a way that it could continue if I needed to, which was, I mean, it turned out great, right? So I'm not ready. Okay. The outline that I had started for my new series, literally the notes I've been taking, started in 2016. So I am at that point now to where I not only have the written outline, I also have the calendar timeline. That I will go through as soon as, if you're following me on Instagram though, you've seen the calendar timeline. Not like seen it, because I made sure to blur it out so you couldn't see everything. But you've seen exactly what I'm doing, and it's a lot, because this series takes a lot of research and a lot of time, and it's literally something that I am extremely proud of. Now, I can tell you, though, that I am very proud of all of my books. I'm proud to be able to say that I am a published author. I actually have something written down that I'm not going to say. But the research originally started for me, I just wanted to understand a specific subject. I really wanted to understand it. And once I got that understanding, that's when I was like, I've got the perfect book series. But I wanted to make sure that I had the right information, because it's a very I can't really say it's a sensitive subject, but it can be. It can be a very sensitive subject. So anyway, I'm not ready to give away anything for the new series, but like I said, I really don't have a whole lot of information on Killer Suburbia. So I can't really give anything away, but I can tell you Killer Suburbia is based on 4 serial killers who all live on the same dead-end street. The original title was going to be Killer Cul-de-sac, but since the Killer Suburbia series has now become one book, I decided to use that as a title. So each killer has their own murderous process, both for the act and for the disposal of the bodies. And one by one, they begin discovering that each other is a killer. I mean, what are the odds of more than one killer living on the same street, right? Let alone 4. So they start having weekly meetings discussing the next victim, but when one killer discovers his victim has already been murdered, he's determined to find out who stole his mark and get his revenge. So that's the basic premise of Killer Suburbia. I don't have a whole lot because of the fact that, you know, like I said, it's still in the shit draft stage. But to anyone who actually watched all of these videos, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I even want to say thank you to anyone who actually came back and watched these videos after being on my live or watching my live video on Facebook. Thank you to that. Any books that are sold on my website will be signed. I hope you all enjoyed my video series. And if you've got any questions or anything like that, let me know below. This was the shortest video, I think, so I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot of information. I do have new videos that will be coming out that are going to be a little bit more informative on like my processes and stuff like that. So also, I will be talking about my website and why I have one. And why I'm selling my books on my website, since I think most authors who have websites are generally blogs. But I think it would be best doing it this way, and I'll talk about that in my video. But anyway, so that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming in. Whatever, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Whether you like or dislike this video, I really don't give a shit, but whatever. So anyway, that's it. Okay, bye!